We are fighting a war on multiple fronts. We have to consider the Borg, the Undine, and the Romulans, as well as the Klingons.
I see now my deception has been exposed.
Starfleet has lost too many ships, and too many good men and women, to a fight we now know was caused by Iconian and Undine influence.
Is that...
An Iconian gateway? Yes, I believe it is.
Into the gateway, now!
Are all those markers Iconian gateways?
Sir, we've been scanning the gateway. The monitors on the bridge are all showing an Omega.
Welcome to the Delta Quadrant. We are within the Solanae Dyson sphere, a spherical structure built around a star.
We now know why the sphere generates vast amounts of Omega particles. It is designed to use those particles as fuel to jump to any area of space.
It now appears that the Jenolan sphere had the same jump capabilities as the Solanae, and moved to this location.
You're not Cooper.
We will repel the Undine, and survive to warn the Alpha Quadrant of the renewed threat. The Undine are a threat to us all. I propose a summit. We must decide together what we must do to protect the Alpha Quadrant. Our disputes may need to be put aside in the face of a greater enemy.
And now, the continuation.
Welcome to the Delta Quadrant. I will admit that I did not expect to be here with Voyager again. It is agreeable. Thank you for agreeing to attend this conference and supporting my position on the Undine. However, reaching a consensus today will be difficult. Many different agendas will be represented here today. I will speak to you in person shortly. Tuvok out.
Welcome to the Jenolan Dyson sphere. Please beam down to these coordinates.
Good to see you. I'd say you're right on time, but it looks like everyone else wants to be fashionably late. We're still finishing preparations for the conference, and Admiral Tuvok is already there. The Klingon and Romulan delegates will arrive soon, so we should head inside as soon as you're ready.
It is my sincere hope that the Romulan Republic will join the galactic community in addressing the threat posed by the Undine. This is also an opportunity to open dialogues regarding other pertinent matters. I would recommend assisting your pro-council while we complete our final preparations. The talks will begin shortly.
This Cardassian thug is trying to push Bajor out of this conference. We have as much of a right to be represented here as any other world, more than the Cardassians. They're not even part of the Federation or the Klingon Empire.
I simply inquired about the ambassador's presence at the conference. After all, Bajor is a member of the Federation. Ambassador Sugihara is capable of representing them, along with the Deltans, Andorians, Vulcans, and everyone else, even the Tellarites, though I suspect they'd argue that point rather robustly. Indeed. One wonders how well that gateway would have fared if Deep Space Nine was of Bajoran manufacture, rather than Cardassian. The Federation's track record on wormhole security is far from ideal. One only needs to consider the multiple Dominion occupations of the station for proof of that point.
The Federation has never made a policy of preventing member worlds from overseeing their own interests in conjunction with Federation efforts. Or is Bajor going to be treated differently than other member worlds?
Well said. Perhaps there's hope for this conference yet. I'm quite willing to put this disagreement behind us in the interest of the bigger picture.
Where do you want me posted, sir?
Where do you want me posted, sir?
Where do you want me posted, sir?
Where do you want me posted, sir? The preliminary tasks are complete. You should speak with Admiral Tuvok again.
The delegates have all arrived. The presentation will begin shortly. You have some time to familiarize yourself with the other ambassadors and their positions. I suggest that you do so.
The Federation's position is quite clear. We believe the only way to safeguard the future of the Alpha and Beta quadrants is for all the galactic powers to behave as reasonable entities and work together to oppose those who would threaten our worlds. It doesn't matter if that threat comes from the Undine, the Borg, or the Iconians. The response is the same.
The Xindi are here to support Admiral Tuvok's call for cooperation. We know what tragedies befall a people who are being manipulated by outsiders, as we once were. The Undine's lies and manipulation remind us of the Sphere Builders, whose deceptions led us to make one of the greatest mistakes in our history. There are 5 races on my world. We all know reaching a consensus can be difficult, but the Xindi are living proof that if we put aside animosity, our differences can make us stronger.
The Romulan Republic has thus far proven to be a fairly reliable ally. If you wish to continue to make a positive impression on the Empire, when you speak with the other delegates, you should underscore the severity of the threat posed by these shapeshifters. You are familiar with the machinations of the Tal Shiar. Imagine if they had the ability to appear as anyone at any time. That is the danger of the Undine.
We will have an opportunity to take a leadership role here. Our knowledge of the Solanae sphere should be an advantage. In addition, we control the gateway to the spheres in Taudewa space. We've built a home, and you fought to preserve it. Now, we need to secure our place among the stars. Yes, the Undine. Very interesting. My security advisors have been looking over the data, and we are all very curious to hear what you and Admiral Tuvok have to say on the matter.
You've spoken with representatives of all of the delegations. You should return to Admiral Tuvok.
We are almost ready to begin. Will you complete the final preparations for the conference while I speak to Captain Sean? After that, your assistance in encouraging everyone to take their seats would be appreciated. I must join the Federation delegation.
Ah, it seems the time has come at last. Thank you for the reminder.
I was just going. Don't rush me.
Oh, yes, I will take my seat.
I suppose we can begin.
You can start the presentation from the control console.
The Undine represent a clear and present danger to not only the Federation, but also the Klingon Empire and Romulan Republic. The damage done here by a mere handful of ships is clear evidence for the need for cooperation.
With respect, Admiral, the Romulan Republic is quite capable of leading exploration and security measures here, just as we have led efforts to secure the Solanae sphere. My militia...
I find it interesting that the Federation suddenly has concerns about the Undine now. Where was the Federation when the Empire discovered Undine infiltrators in the Alpha Quadrant? Or is the Federation only interested now the Undine threatens something you want?
Given the exceptionally complicated nature of such...
Ambassador, given what we now know, that was a mistake. The Empire recognized the Undine threat years ago. We didn't.
You admit you are wrong?
The evidence provided by Admiral Tuvok and his team is sound.
Thank you, Captain Sean. However, dwelling on past mistakes will not solve the problems of the present.
Our fleet stands ready to protect both spheres from the Undine.
The Undine can wait. We have more important business to discuss. Who owns this sphere? I represent a consortium of businessmen on Ferenginar. We are prepared to invest significant venture capital into transforming this sphere into a vacation destination to rival Risa. I have a proposal of $500,000 of... What's that?
Tuvok to Voyager. Report.
A massive fleet of Undine vessels just appeared from a rift. They're setting a course for the gateway.
The Undine? What do they want?
Unknown. Direct to Lisette. Track their course.
Enterprise to Captain Sean. We're receiving a distress signal from Earth's space dock.
Sean to Federation Fleet. Red alert. Prepare for immediate departure.
The Federation is our enemy, but the Undine attack like assassins in the night.
We will crush the Kamikuv!
A significant Undine force is headed for the Sol system. The issue of the spheres, and your people's alliance with the Federation, will be meaningless unless the Undine are stopped. Are you willing to join the fight? Species 8472 is already boarded Earth space dock. Once we are through the gateway, we must render assistance as soon as possible. I am picking up several distress calls from across the system. Curious. There are fewer Undine vessels than we witnessed using the gateway. Negative. The subspace relay booster network appears to be offline. I am reading Undine ships attacking Earth space dock, as well as attacks on the lunar colonies and the orbital habitat on the far side of Earth.
Agreed. Enterprise will clear the area around the lunar colonies.
Fine. Jirok and I will clear the far side of the planet.
Enterprise will set course for Luna.
The Fortescue and the Lisette will lead the fight on the far side of Earth.
Earth is one of the most secure planets in the Federation. Sol will not be safe as long as Species 8472 vessels remain in the system. Earth's space dock is taking severe structural damage. not hurry. Earth's space dock may be destroyed.
Tethys Dreadnought, inbound.
The Undine on the other side of the planet were no match for Klingon warriors.
Lunar colony secure.
We will put an end to this together.
Undine ships are still present. Our work here is not complete. There are still Undine
Any
ships
ships
in the
still
system.
in range?
We must
There are
eliminate
Undine
them.
hunting parties on Earth space dock. We're fighting them, but comms are spotty. I was lucky to get an external signal working. We need any assistance you can spare. You're supposed to be our allies, aren't you? Right now, I'd let the Borg on board if they'd help us drive out the Undine.
I've received orders from New Romulus. In light of this situation, the Lisette is being recalled to defend the homeworld. You should stay here and assist Starfleet. They sound like they need your help.
The boarding parties on Earth space dock should be our main concern. The Undine will be attempting to cripple Starfleet operations, gain valuable data, and capture ranking officers. We cannot afford to allow them to succeed. I am prepared to beam down immediately. Your assistance will greatly improve our chances of success.